MK, and I am here for another Groundhog Day hop. I'm also combining this with Mixed Media Mayhem. So in the past, the very top layout is the one that I started with, and then I have scrap lifted it 2 times. So today I will be lifting it a 3rd time. So it's going to be super fun. And the first thing that I pulled out is some 49 and Market acetate leaves and foliage. And then I pulled out, so I'm just showing you guys, this one is from the Essentials, the other one is from Sherbert, Spectrum Sherbert. I also pulled out a couple pieces from Scrapbook Addicts. Now this one here is these adorable little floral clusters that she creates and puts together, glues them all. Oh, it's amazing. And then from Scrap and Happy Studio, I have these adorable flare. I was going to try to get one of those heart flare inside. I love these, you guys. And then also from Scrapbook Addicts, this is almost like a build-a-page kit and all the elements that you need to put on just one single page or a double page. But I'm going to pick and choose a few pieces out of there. I also have this stamp set, Notes of Nature by Stampin' Up! That is in their little mini catalog. And then from Altenew, I have these slim rectangle dies that have a stitch around them. Now, my mixed media recipe calls for a stamped background, splatters, and Nuvo drops. Now, I do the stamped background, but then forget about everything else. I don't end up adding splatters. I don't end up adding Nuvo drops. This wood grain piece is from Close to My Heart from 2020, I believe. And it just came in a wood grain pack. I already cut off the branding strip and cut it in half for my die cut machine. I'm going to be scrap lifting these 2 photos and only making a single layout instead of a double layout. Now, I've always done doubles because that was what my inspiration was, and so it's kind of fun to see the adaptation of going from a single to a double, and then hopefully years down the road I will move on to maybe different elements and whatnot. All right, so I went onto the die cut machine, die cut out all of my frames, and now I realized that I did not have any paper to map my photos. So I'm going to go ahead and use the packaging from my 49 and Market acetate leaves. So I'm going to trim down my photos, trim down my packaging, and then I am good to go. I'm not sure if I want to double map my photos and use multiple layers or not. I'm not really sure on that one. At this point, I've gathered up all my supplies, but I really don't pay attention a whole lot to whether or not I'm following myself, because for my first layout, I ended up using wood grain frames like I am today. And then my next 2 layouts, I moved away from the wood grain frames, ended up doing metallic frames because on my first original wood grain frames, there was metallic splatter, and then using a wood grain background. So for this one, I kind of went back to my original layout using a plain background based off of my needs for the Mixed Media Mayhem. And like I said, I apologize for not for getting the splatters. I forgot the Nuvo. I mean, I was all set. It's all sitting right up into the right-hand corner, and I completely forgot to even add. I was just so excited to put this layout together that I spaced it entirely as to how I was going to put, what I was going to add to this layout. But yes, I was wondering why those Nuvo drops were laying on my desk. I really was. So just interesting. These are photos of my husband and I crossing a bridge at Mono Lake. It's actually the Mono Lake Reservation, where you can go and read about the lake and what makes it so special. Why does it look so abandoned? It was interesting why nobody was on the lake when we very first passed it, our first year going to June Lake. It was just a mystery to us. Like, oh my gosh, look at that gorgeous body of water and nobody's utilizing it. Like nobody's out there. And so this year we decided, or not this year, is 2024 this year, but the year that I took these photos, we decided to stop at the reservation, which is or preservation, which is almost like a ranger park where it has plaques for you to read and a museum further down the road. Just interesting facts about Mono Lake, and I think it's called Mono Lake, you guys. I apologize if I'm saying it wrong, but it's just very interesting. Well, this little bridge going from the lake into a very cute little park for kids and whatnot. I mean, it is just beautiful. Totally different atmospheres between going to the lake where it's very reedy, very marshy, and then you walk across this bridge and you're into a lush forest. It's just a huge change in atmosphere. It's a cooler weather. The trees allow the air to stay nice and cool down there. I mean, it was just beautiful. However, the bridge is really what I wanted to talk about. So this bridge, I'm not sure if you can see right behind my husband down by his arm, is very wet. It has the morning dew on it. And because of the trees, it does not get sunshine. And so when we were crossing it, it's almost like crossing an ice skating rink. And so if you're not careful, you will fall. And Nana did fall. She fell twice. It's not funny. I'm laughing, but it's not funny. She was giggling her butt off as soon as she landed, and then she landed a second time. She just could not believe that she is so out of balance. But it just was one of those things that I wanted to remember, because in order to check out the preservation, you have to cross this bridge, and it does specifically say to use the handrails. Like, there's a warning on both sides of this bridge about how slippery this bridge gets, especially between, this time frame and this time frame. And none of us even bothered to heed the warning, even though 2 of my children even read the sign out loud for everyone to hear. So that is why I'm kind of giggling, because even my kids were smart enough to read the sign. However, none of us, not even the kids that read the sign, bothered to hold the handrail. And so Nana took a fall. I was actually taking a picture. The very first one on the left was a picture of me taking to see if Jason was going to fall, which was not very nice of me. But when we crossed it the first time, we realized, oh my gosh, that sign's there for a reason. Like, it really does get slick. And then the second time, we still did the same thing. It's like we didn't learn the first time, and Nana falling twice, for us to hold on to the handrails. Not funny, you guys. It really isn't funny. But yeah, it just goes to prove how stubborn we really are and whatnot. And so anyways, that's the big old story. It's not cute little photos of me and my husband. It's the fact that, we are a stubborn family, even down to, Nana and Papa, and we don't pay attention. So Papa actually didn't end up using the bridge. He watched Nana take a fall, and then his eyes got really super wide. And so he went down into the ditch and then back up, so he would not fall, because it was actually drier in the ditch than it was across this wooden bridge. But he has a bad back, and so he thought, oh my gosh, if he falls, then vacation would have been over. So he did the smart thing and went around. And then there was also a over there on the left, or in the right of the photo, by the handrails of the bridge. There's actually a little path between the trees that you can walk across as well. So multiple ways to get to the preservation of Mono Lake and between this beautiful grove. But of course, we had to test the bridge out, because, how slippery can it really be? Oh my goodness. So anyways, going off of what I have done, I love this layout because I love all of the little squares, all of the greenery, or my first layout had flowers coming through the squares. My second layout, I believe, was gears and flowers. And then my third layout was gears, flowers, clocks. I mean, a menagerie of goodies mixed in with 49 and Market goodies. And so I thought, oh my gosh, this is perfect because I'm using 49 and Market goodies. I'm using the rectangles, and I'm using the the greenery and whatnot. Now these hearts that I'm adding, I'm not really sure exactly. They almost feel like Minte hearts, but they were in with my greenery, my 49 and Market greenery. So I'm not really sure. They had a feel of Minte, like their laser cut pieces. And so I honestly don't remember where they came from, but they were a perfect addition to Scrapbook Addict's little pieces that I'm using up at the top of my layout, where it says that it's time to explore. That had the beautiful blue, which I think was embossed. I'm not really sure. Sarah puts in so much detail into all of her beautiful little handmade pieces, and each one is handmade, you guys. Every single one of them. I just am floored away. And she did share on her Facebook group at one point in time. She has two Facebook groups. One is Scrapbook Addicts for sharing, and the other one is Scrapbook Addicts for her shop. So she can introduce new pieces coming to the shop and whatnot. And she just loves sharing how her embellishments come to be. And it is awesome. She's so organized, having all of these little tiny pieces in one of those clear organizers, with the little drawers. And so she can pull out all the little different pieces and whatnot. But each piece is handmade to order. She doesn't have a whole bunch of them just pre-made and whatnot. From my understanding, you guys, if I'm misspeaking, Sarah, let me know. The little window, I don't know what that's called, slideshow thing with the butterfly inside it. The butterfly is actually 3D. She took a butterfly and put it in between the window, so it could be magnified or whatever. It just awesome. And so of course I had to add a little bit more butterflies. So I'm taking some of the butterflies. Now I didn't want them to stick out too much, so I picked the butterflies that matched my greenery the most, because again, I did not want them to be. I didn't want them to be the star of the show and stick out. I also went and flattened my flare, so that way I could put it down on layers and it not be such a thick element on my layout. And then, of course, I ran out of glue dots, so I ended up using tear and tape on the back of my flare, which works just as good. In another video, I ended up using these photo corner piece things. I'm not really sure. And to be honest, yeah, they did not. I didn't realize they were repositionable, so all my stuff kept coming up. So that was just a disaster and a half. I did add a little bit more stamping over on the left because I had a fingerprint over there. So what best way to cover it up than with more splatters, which I guess I did use splatters. I used a stamp splatter. That's cheating. But yeah, I might go ahead and add some more splatters to this layout. I have no idea. I just know that I didn't realize that I was missing all those pieces for Mixed Media Mayhem. So I apologize, you guys. All right, so that is my layout. I had such a fun time. I love Groundhog's Day. Every time it comes up, I am just so super stoked and excited to recreate all of these layouts. It is a blast, you guys. I have fun. All right, so I've got a playlist down below for everyone else joining along on Groundhog's Day and scraplifting themselves, the same layout every year. And then I also have a couple links down below to everyone's channel and a playlist. We have decided to turn Mixed Media Mayhem into a playlist and have been adding everything into the playlist. So there it is. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me today. And I will check you guys all later. Bye.